tiny town of Dargo is located about 4 hours east of Melbourne, deep within the Victorian High Country. And this local iconic country pub would have to be one of the most photographed pubs in Victoria, and if not Australia, with passing by of four-wheel drivers, motorbike riders, and anyone else passing through town. They all seem to want to park their vehicle out the front and get a photo of this pub in the background. Now, Tom's the owner of this fine establishment, and I'm going to go and have a chat with him. So Tom, you've been fairly localised in the area for many years. Have you been coming through Dargo for long?
Yeah, I've been coming up since about 1976, before I had my licence, and just fishing, and 78 I got my licence, and I've come up fairly often since then. And I've known locals for years and years and years, and previous owners I've known for years and years, so yeah, I've been around here for 40 odd years.
So you would have seen some changes, particularly with the pub over that time?
Oh, a lot of changes, yeah, from dining, just size-wise, accommodation, everything else, it's all grown.
When you first step through the doors of the hotel, it's like stepping back in time, as it's full of old photos and memorabilia.
Most of the stuff is all donated by local people. We got a photo the other day of a horse sticking its head through the front door, where we just found out that was Jack Lovick from over the other side of the hills. If the pub gets sold or someone else, it's just all been donated, so it just stays as a pub. It's not part of Shadows or anything like that. So hopefully it stays here for years and years and years and years.
Yeah, it's certainly one of those iconic pubs where everyone wants to come and have a look at.
Yeah, it is. That's right. We talk about this, the Lion's Den, Daily Waters pubs, all sort of similar places, so just right down the book. And a lot of people came in to bring their books in of the country pubs and get signed. Joy's behind the bar, she's in the photo, so we try and get her down. We give her a ring when people turn up, so she can come and sign her picture.
In the late 1800s, disaster struck the hotel, where it was destroyed by fire. And in 1898, a new and larger construction was built on the site, and parts of it were constructed from buildings demolished and recovered from the old township of Grant.
And when they built this pub, they built it 10 feet back from the original pub, because it was out more or less on the road. We had our bicentennial was 1998, so it's getting on towards one of the older pubs. At Port Albert pub was one of the oldest full running licences until it burnt down about a fortnight ago. But yeah, that's when it was established.
And many people may not know this, but the hotel was originally named the Bridge Hotel. In the mid-1980s, it was changed to its current name, the Dargo Hotel. I see at the front it's under new management, so how long have you actually been here?
We took over on the 1st of August. People who own the pub, the freehold, gave us a ring and said, would you like to take it over from the owners that had it? And so yes, we took it over then.
This is the first pub you've had?
Yeah, I had a business in that for years ago, fish and chip shop business, and spent a bit of time in pubs, so I sort of know what they're about.
So Tom, notice you've got a number of cabins here. Can people camp here as well?
Yes. Christmas, long weekends and Easter. We have camping out the back where people can bring their tents, sleep in swags, caravans. There's no facilities normally, but as I say, on long weekends, Easter and Christmas, we supply toilets and showers. But if people want to camp out there during any weekend, they just take the tent and swag out and pitch it, but use the pub facilities or use their own facilities.
And the cabins are available all year round?
Cabins are available all year round, self-contained, and we have 2 bunk rooms. Each cabin holds 8 people, and the bunk rooms hold, one holds 11 and one holds 8. So, and they've got showers, toilets and showers.
Well Tom, I can smell the meals being cooked out there. Is that open 7 days a week?
Yeah, 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. And if we have people staying in the cabins, we supply a meal deal where they have a 2-course meal and cooked breakfast.
The pub's 2-wheel drive accessible. Where do most of your people come from?
Probably Australia-wide. They have fishing, hunting, motorbike riding and 4-wheel driving. As you say, Bitumen Road one way from the Princess Highway, gravel road over the High Plains from Hoffman, which is the Alpine Highway.
Dargo's heritage is showcased within this historical museum. It's located about 500 metres behind the Dargo Hotel, and it's run by local historian Brian Madigan.
Basically in the gold mining days, the rivers and alluvial gold around the area produced a lot of influx of people looking to make it in the gold and gold mining, and Dargo, being a rather larger flat area along the rivers, managed to supply a lot of food to the miners. They could grow food and run stock here, which was a valuable asset obviously to the miners.
The township of Dargo was a stopping off point for many people heading up to the major goldfields as they came through from the coastal town of Port Albert. Many of them had to walk in because they were not wealthy enough to own a horse.
And I believe in the old days about every 4 miles, or what's it, something like 6 or 7 kilometres, they'd have a wet the whistle stop, bit of a hotel or shanty to keep their enthusiasm up as they travel to the gold mining areas.
Dargo itself and around the town wasn't exceptionally rich in gold, but the mountains and rivers nearby produced a lot of gold. And by the mid-1860s, gold had all but dried up.
The last working gold mines were finished by about 1900. Dargo survived once again because of its rural industry, which moved on through the years, and cattle in the high country, of course, became synonymous with Dargo. And then later on, a sawmill developed in Dargo and went for many years. Now, Dargo, a population would have probably been around 250, 300 in the heyday. There were, at that stage, 6 hotels in Dargo area. But now, over the years, younger people, there's no work for them here. They've moved away, so the population is ageing population, and basically down to about 75 to 80 people living here. There are a lot of other absentee landholders, and once again it's basically the rural industry that's supporting Dargo.
Have a look at this olden day telephone exchange. Now, the way this worked was an operator would sit here, wait for the incoming call to come through these bells here. He or she would then pick up the receiver and ask who they wanted to speak to. Then they would pull the line out of here into the person they wanted to speak to, dial this handle around a few times to alert them of an incoming phone call. Then that's how they would have their call. How times have changed. And you caretake the museum permanently?
Yes, there were 2 or 3 of us started it about 12 years ago, and we formed a committee, and we manage it and keep it going, and recently got some stuff from MAFRA, Historical Society, and things like that.
Back in the mid-1800s, these ore buckets were pushed deep inside the tunnel mines that are operating around this area. They'd be loaded up with quartz rock. From there, they'd be pushed back out to the awaiting rock crusher to have the gold separated from the rock. And we believe these have come from the old Grant mine. So Brian, what is it that brings tourists through the town of Dargo today?
Well, Dargo's a sleepy little town now, mainly older generation. Four-wheel driving, motorbike riding are the 2 main factors that bring a lot of people into Dargo. When the timber industry started up, and that of course produced roads to extract the timber, and opened up the area significantly for tourism.
Well, it's time to break camp and head off from our journey back in time, and I hope to see you out in the bush here someday.